Imagine receiving a notification that a package, already yours by right, is impatiently waiting for you. This video, inspired by the words of Neville Goddard, will guide you through the understanding that faith is not only a requirement to please the divine but also a transformative force that can materialize your deepest desires. By accepting that God manifests as our sublime imagination, you will understand that trusting in this powerful faculty is essential. It's like receiving a postal notice, a promise that something valuable, destined for you, is ready to be collected. Although you don't see it yet, that package belongs to you. This is how your faith should be, and when the Bible mentions that without faith it is impossible to please God, it does not refer to an entity seeking satisfaction, since God requires nothing because he possesses everything. This is because imagination, which is God, encompasses everything. Everything has already been created in the imagination. Now, if a part of that whole is going to manifest in the material world for you, it depends solely on one person, yourself. Hello, everything you have or has come into your life has done so through your faith. Do you mean to say then that I also had faith in the adversities I faced? Yes, faith is the expectation that something will happen. Some expect what they fear, others what they dislike. The choice is personal, although some prefer to consider themselves victims of external forces such as evil or fate. Yes, the law of karma exists, but since it is always active, you have the opportunity to mix your bad harvest with a new and better one. Because if the law of karma applies to negative actions, then, logically, it must also apply to positive ones. And if you must face unfavorable consequences for having sown bad seeds, that should not be a reason to stop sowing good seeds. Start now and decrease your bad karma by planning and establishing a more favorable karma. If you manage to remain firm in the vision of a better life, even when everything around you seems to indicate the opposite, you recognize that there is only one power that controls this world, and that power resides and operates within you through your imagination. I wish that your faith in God would be as great as your faith in yourself, because any faith placed outside of that inner God is idolatry. It is granting power to someone who, in reality, possesses none. Hello again. I wish that your faith in God would be as immense as your faith in yourself, because any faith placed outside of that inner God constitutes idolatry. It is granting power to someone who, in fact, has none. And when you visualize yourself living a specific situation, you understand that this image is in itself God and that, as such, it possesses all the power to materialize in the material world. And upon seeing that image, you feel the urge to pray to a distant God to make it a reality for you. The power that created this material world resides within you now, in this instant. It is up to you to accept it or not. And if everything is possible for God or the imagination, then everything must be possible for you as well. Again, if everything is possible for God or the imagination, then everything must be possible for you too. But for God everything is possible, that is, it is possible to imagine anything because everything has already been created. And as I mentioned earlier, I insist, a part of that whole will manifest in the material world for you, depending solely on one person, yourself. Religious leaders refer to God in the third person as if he were far away or out of reach, forgetting that he revealed to Moses that his name is I Am, and no one can pronounce his name without feeling it within themselves. I Am is the name of God, which implies that he resides in each one of us through that I Am that we all carry within. And believe me when I tell you that the true purpose of this life is to discover who you really are. It's like a children's game of hide and seek. We hide in this human body until we discover our true identity. The final scene, in reality, is the first. The crucifixion of Christ is the first scene we experience when crossing from the divine world to the material world, where we become individuals. We go from a world where we were everything to living in a world where we become sparks of a greater whole. Then, upon realizing this, you feel the desire to say, "It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me." And that Christ is God becoming man, not only in the figure of Jesus in the scriptures but in every man and woman born in this material world. Bill said through Christ, and now through me, Neville, Anderson, unless I die, you cannot live, but if I die, I will soon resurrect, and we will be together as one. All of life is revealed in this statement. God dies as everything, arriving as an individual in the material world, and if it were not for that death, we would not be here as individuals. Ah, But then God resurrects in our consciousness, and we once again identify with the whole, recognizing its magnificence. We reach the end of the game. It's not like in the game of hide-and-seek where you find someone, say I found you, and that's it, the game ends, and everyone goes home. Faith, then, is not merely a passive hope or a desire without action, it is an active certainty, a conviction that moves us to act as if what we desire is already part of our reality. This understanding transforms our relationship with the challenges and adversities we face. They are not insurmountable obstacles but opportunities to reaffirm our faith, to remember that even in adversity, we are sowing the seeds of future victories. Thus, each experience, good or bad, becomes a link in the chain of our spiritual and material evolution. The law of karma, seen in this light, is not an immutable destiny but a reminder of our ability to influence the course of our life through our actions and thoughts. Like a gardener who tends to their garden, we are called to consciously sow seeds of kindness, love, and gratitude, knowing that in time, we will reap the fruits of these seeds. This process of sowing and reaping is a continuous cycle of creation and manifestation, where every choice we make is a brushstroke on the canvas of our existence. By remaining steadfast in the vision of a better life, even amidst challenging circumstances, we affirm our sovereignty over our reality. This act of faith is a direct challenge to any notion of powerlessness or victimization. We recognize that the only power that truly has influence over our life is the power that resides within us, the power of our imagination, the power of God in action through us. The revelation that I am is the name of God not only connects us with an ancient truth but also invites us to assume responsibility for this divine identity. By declaring I am, we invoke the presence of God within us, affirming our unity with the Creator and with all creation. This recognition of our inherent divinity is the first step towards liberation from any self-imposed limitations, towards the full realization of our unlimited potential. The story of the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ, interpreted as a metaphor for our own spiritual journey, teaches us that the death of the ego is the prelude to our rebirth into a higher consciousness. By dying to our limitations and fears, we are reborn into the fullness of our true being, into the light of our divinity. This cycle of death and rebirth is a continuous process of transformation and growth, where every ending is a new beginning. The game of hide-and-seek, in which we conceal ourselves in the illusion of separation only to rediscover our unity with all that exists, is a cosmic dance of forgetting and remembering. By remembering who we truly are, by recognizing that He is in me, and I am in Him, we transcend the illusion of duality and enter the realm of unity, where all distinctions dissolve in the light of universal truth. The game can continue, you can choose to forget again if you wish, you can continue hiding, knowing that all of this is a grand game of forgetting and remembering, of hiding and finding, because we are all one, and God has shown that He can even die and resurrect, because today He has once again remembered Himself in His totality through me and through you. So, say with me, He is in me, and I am in Him.